Jack gazed out his window, a weary expression on his face. The beanstalk, once the source of his incredible adventures, had now become an unwelcome burden. The giant who had chased him down all those years ago was long gone, but the troubles the beanstalk had brought him were far from over. One day, news reached Jack that the giant's family, led by his cunning widow, had filed a lawsuit against him. Apparently, they claimed that Jack had unlawfully trespassed into their ancestral land, stolen their prized golden harp, and caused immense emotional distress. Jack couldn't believe his ears. Fearing the worst, Jack journeyed to the nearest courthouse. The anticipation weighed heavily on his heart as he entered the grand courtroom. The giant's widow, Mrs. Goliath, stood tall and formidable, her lawyer at her side. Jack, feeling small and insignificant, took a seat beside his court-appointed attorney. The judge pounded the gavel, and the courtroom fell silent. Mrs. Goliath rose, pointing an accusatory finger at Jack. "Your Honor, this young man invaded our property, stole our prized possession, and ruthlessly destroyed our family legacy." Jack's attorney quickly rose to his defense. "Your Honor, my client climbed the beanstalk merely out of curiosity and self-preservation. He didn't intend to cause any harm or distress. He simply got tangled up in an unexpected adventure." Mrs. Goliath's lawyer scoffed. "Just an adventure? Your Honor, these actions cannot go unpunished. Our client suffered great losses due to Jack's reckless behavior. We seek emotional and financial reparations." The judge listened intently, weighing the arguments. He contemplated the consequences of Jack's actions and the potential impact on the giant's family. The courtroom was filled with nervous silence as the judge finally began to speak. "In light of the evidence presented in this case," the judge's voice boomed through the room, "I hereby rule in favor of compromise." Both parties turned their heads in surprise, unsure of what to expect. The judge continued, "Jack, while I understand your intentions were not malicious, you must accept responsibility for your actions. You shall return the golden harp to the Goliath family as a sign of goodwill and respect. In return, Mrs. Goliath, I order you to relinquish your claim to the land and the beanstalk itself." The courtroom erupted in a mix of relief and disappointment. Jack felt a weight lift off his shoulders, grateful for the judge's decision. Mrs. Goliath, though disappointed, knew she had achieved justice for her family's loss. The media rushed to capture the dramatic conclusion, cameras flashing as they recorded Jack and Mrs. Goliath shaking hands, a symbol of an unexpected truce. The beanstalk, once the center of Jack's fantastical adventures, now lay dormant, forever changing the lives of those involved. In the end, Jack learned that his actions had consequences, regardless of the far-reaching circumstances. And as he left the courtroom that day, he made a solemn vow to himself to seek adventure within the bounds of the law and to appreciate the power of compromise and understanding.